We have Mary Ann Sharp with Lawyer's Title, Bill Provost with Franklin Loans, Richie Perez with Richie's Termite and Pest, Matt Smith with Trust Home Inspections, Tiffany Cross with Dedicated Credit Repair, Lloyd Mize with Lloyd Mize Realty Group Coldwell Banker, Scott Peterson with Home Perfect Restoration, Garen Parker with New Season Property Management, John Ruff with Ruff and Ready Moving, and Celeste Descharme with Rancho Self Storage. So these are all the amazing people who has made this event possible today. So we want to thank them so much for all their hard work. So this event, I just want to talk a little bit about what this event is going to be about. So I know that some of us are a little uncomfortable with the video, doing business virtually, and really we just need to get out of our heads and into the virtual game. We just need to get over the fears and start doing business so we can be successful during quarantine and keep doing business as usual after quarantine. So, but we have some great speakers who are going to share a lot of great tools with you on how to do that. But first up, we are going to have an update on our real estate market. With us today is Kristian Hoysradt. He is the political representative for NAR and NAR California Liaison. And I'm just going to briefly introduce Kristian. He is a political representative for the National Association of Realtors based in Washington, D.C., and serves as NAR's liaison to state and local realtor associations across 9 states and territories, including New England, California, Hawaii, and Guam. In this role, Kristian leads advocacy efforts in support of NAR's federal legislative and political programs. Prior to joining NAR, Kristian served as the government affairs director for a local realtor association on Boston's North Shore and spent a decade working for local, state, and federal political campaigns, nonprofits, and local government across New England and in Washington, D.C. So thank you so much, Kristian, for being here today. We appreciate it. And I'm going to give you the floor to give us an update.
Terrific. Thanks so much, Lisa. Happy to be here with all of you today. So as NAR's political representative for California, I serve as the primary liaison between what NAR is doing in Washington and how that impacts all of you at the state and local level, especially in California. And so today I'm going to talk about how the COVID-19 emergency response legislation that's been passed in Washington over the last few weeks is impacting the real estate industry. And I also am going to pretty much highlight all of the benefits that NAR has been able to secure in that legislation as relief for all of you during what is obviously a somewhat difficult time. So first and foremost, everyone should know that NAR has been working around the clock with policymakers here in Washington to ensure that the interests of you and your clients are protected in any federal action that's been taken in response to the coronavirus crisis. We've specifically been advocating on policies that serve self-employed individuals and small businesses. And we've been advocating to make sure any type of relief like that is included in these response packages, and will continue to do so as more economic stimulus packages come on through Congress. We also have a number of industry partners in Washington that we work with, and so we're always speaking with them and working in partnership to make sure that we are on a united front in defending the real estate industry here in Washington and minimizing transaction disruptions during during this crisis. And one thing to keep in mind is that people like to talk about special interests in Washington. Special interests are the ones that get all the relief. Well, the thing about NAR and realtors is that we're not just a special interest, we're everyone's interest. And so the issues we're advocating for resonate strongly with members of Congress. And so that certainly gives us a leg up on our advocacy on Capitol Hill. Before I get started, I just want to preface by saying I'm about to throw a lot of information at all of you. And so I want you to know that everything I'm about to talk about is located at NAR's coronavirus hub, which is nar.realtor/coronavirus. So again, everything I'm about to talk about, all of NAR's information and resources are all available at that coronavirus microsite. And I also would like to direct you all to the California Realtors coronavirus hub as well. Theirs is car.org/coronavirus. They have terrific FAQs on unemployment insurance, loans, anything you need to know as both agents and brokers. Their FAQs are just excellent. So I would definitely recommend that folks check that out. So primarily I'm going to focus today on what's in the CARES Act. The CARES Act was that $2 trillion piece of legislation, otherwise known as the economic stimulus, that was passed on March 27th. It is the largest piece of legislation ever passed in American history. It's close to 900 pages, and so I'll tell you, our teams here in Washington are still combing through the legislation and asking for additional guidance and clarification from federal agencies on some of the services and programs included in the CARES Act. So what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to pull out the top 10 things you probably need to know about what's included in the CARES Act, and they include number one, the $1,200 and $2,400 cash payments from the U.S. Treasury, which Congress passed as economic stimulus, which should either be mailed to you or directly deposited into your bank account. So I'll touch first on that. Two, the $360 billion expansion of the Small Business Administration loan programs. Three, unemployment insurance eligibility. Four, foreclosure and eviction moratoriums. Five, I'll talk about mortgage relief options. Six, credit score protection. Seven, student loan relief. Eight, early retirement withdrawal options. Nine, partial payroll tax deferral. And then I'll end by just talking a bit about some of the tax due date extensions that have been offered as well by the IRS. And I'm going to put in a final pitch for NAR's Right Tools Right Now initiative that was just launched a couple weeks ago and includes benefits that I hope all of you will hopefully take advantage of. So first I'll start with the cash payments from the U.S. Treasury, the economic stimulus checks that have started to go out from the Treasury. This morning, 80 million Americans who had last year's tax refunds deposited into their bank accounts should have received their stimulus checks this morning. Those who received their refunds by mail last year will receive their checks in the mail in the weeks to come. And so basically, individuals with an adjusted gross income up to $75,000 a year were eligible or are eligible for the full $1,200 check. Reduced checks will then go out to individuals making up to a cap of $99,000 a year, and the payment amounts fall by, I think it's $5 up, $5 for every $100 in income above $75,000 up to $99,000. So if you make anywhere from 75 to 99, you're going to get a reduced stimulus check. If you make anywhere from 0 to 75, you're going to get the full $1,200 check. For married couples, any married couples making 150 and below, you're going to get a full $2,400 stimulus check. And then there are reduced checks again on a sliding scale that will go out to married couples who earn up to $198,000. I should also note that for every child under the age of 17, you'll receive an additional $500. So on those checks, when the whole conversation in DC started about who was going to get them, they basically were talking about W-2 wage earners, and NAR, along with our industry partners, spoke up and aggressively advocated to make sure that 1099 filers were included. So hopefully these economic stimulus checks will be of benefit to many of you on this video chat here today. The second item I'm going to touch on are the SBA loans. So there are two loan programs that were provided by the CARES Act. One is called the Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP, and the other is the Economic Injury Disaster Loans, or EIDL. You should know that when the CARES Act was being created and written in Washington, the senator from the state of Maine, Susan Collins, reached out to us to ask if we were comfortable with the language in the CARES Act as it impacted our members. And so Susan Collins was responsible for writing the small business provision of the CARES Act. And essentially, she reached out to us to make sure that that we were comfortable with our folks being included. And so we weren't actually comfortable with the initial language. And so we rewrote the language that ensured that independent contractors, sole proprietors, and those who work on commission would be eligible for these small business loans. So the first program I'll touch on is the Paycheck Protection Program. This is a $350 billion program and is available, like I said, to independent contractors as well as any small business with 500 employees or less. And the loan amount will equal 2.5 times your business's average monthly salary expenditure based on your 2019 filings, up to $10 million. And so for independent contractors, essentially your 2019 tax filings will be used to basically create what would be your average monthly salary, and you'll receive a PPP loan up to that amount. The great thing about these loans is that they are potentially 100% forgivable if 75% of the loan is used towards salary. So for independent contractors, that's fairly easy to do, a little harder for brokers. And so essentially all you need to do is make sure that the business or your business maintains at least 75% of the same average payroll levels as in the previous year in order for it to be forgiven. So essentially this loan was created to ask and help small businesses keep employees on payroll. And so this loan is accessible through SBA 7A lenders. So you actually have to find a lender who is 7A approved. And our recommendation is you start by asking a lender with whom you've already conducted business, see if they are accepting applications. And if they're not, then you can go to the SBA website, type in your zip code, and you can find PPP approved lenders in your area. So that's the first loan. The second loan program is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan program. This was a pre-existing loan program through the SBA. The CARES Act provided for $10 billion in funding to provide emergency cash advances to small businesses. They've made some changes to this program, unfortunately, over the last few days. And so they've now capped loans through this program at $15,000 per small business. And the cash advances, which would have been forgivable if used for payroll or rent, any type of working capital need. The cash advances were initially meant to be up to $10,000. They've now scaled that back to just $1,000 per employee, up to $10,000. So for independent contractors, typically you'd be eligible for $1,000 forgivable cash advance, and then you'd have the rest of the EIDL loan to pay off at a fairly low rate. But again, this is just another loan option that's available for folks, and you can apply for this loan directly through the SBA website. Just go sba.gov and you'll see the coronavirus resources up at the top. And so our best advice here on these two loans is to either reach out to an accountant or reach out to a lender. They'll help guide you through the specifics of how to apply, what documents you need. And because like so many of our realtor members, fall under different, tax classifications, really need to talk to an accountant or a lender to figure out like which loan would best suit your needs. So those are the two SBA loans. On the Paycheck Protection Program front, I would just like to emphasize on the PPP loan. The Small Business Administration has basically been asked to administer 10 times the amount of loans that they've ever administered in the past over the course of 2 weeks. So the rollout of this program was a bit bumpy. It seems to have smoothed out a bit. And many, if not most of our members are now having an easier time accessing applications and applying. We're saying PPP not only stands for Paycheck Protection, but it also stands for preparedness, persistence, and patience. So in order to be prepared, make sure you have your 2019 tax filings ready to go. In terms of being persistent, if you get if one lender says they're not offering applications, try another lender. and then try another lender if need be, and use the SBA portal in order to locate a lender who's administering the applications. And then finally, just have patience. This is a huge program. It runs until June 30th. There's supplemental funding from Congress on the way, so these programs shouldn't run out of money. Just be patient in getting this assistance, and hopefully it will be of benefit to many of you.
Awesome.
The third piece from the CARES Act I'll talk about is the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. This is a new temporary federal program administered by each state individually to provide unemployment compensation benefits to independent contractors and self-employed individuals for up to 39 weeks, with an additional $600 added on top to everyone's benefits between now and July 31st. So yesterday, the California Employment Development Department, or EDD, the department that administers unemployment benefits normally, they announced that their new system for PUA, the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance, applications is expected to launch in 2 weeks. So we still have 2 weeks to go here in order for independent contractors to be eligible to apply. So again, just to differentiate, in normal circumstances with unemployment, independent contractors aren't eligible through this Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program. NAR advocated to make sure that independent contractors would be eligible for this relief during the crisis. So again, the EDD in California has announced that the system is probably going to launch in about 2 weeks. As soon as it does, I can tell you CAR, the California Realtors, will let everybody know. And we're also being assured by the Secretary of Labor in California that unlike regular unemployment assistance, that usually takes about 3 weeks to process after approval of your application, they're going to start paying individuals within 24 to 48 hours after their application for benefits is approved. So hopefully that will speed up some relief. For now, the California Realtors are still advising folks who are independent contractors to wait on applying through the EDD until they launch their new program. Otherwise, if you applied now, you're probably going to get denied and you'll have to apply again. That said, if you might be eligible for benefits under the regular system, definitely go ahead and apply now. And I'll just say that if you have any questions about either the SBA loans or the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, there are excellent frequently asked question sections on CAR's coronavirus website, car.org/coronavirus. Go on there. There's FAQs for agents and brokers, tons of information that should be helpful to you.
And really quick, Kristian, I'm so sorry. I just want to add, we only have about 5 minutes left with you, and I know you're spitting out a lot of information for our people who have attended. I just want to remind everyone that there will be an email at the end that goes out with all of these links and websites and all of that stuff. So don't feel like, I know he's going fast, but don't feel like you need to write everything down. So go ahead, Kristian, continue.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm gonna speed through just the rest of this a bit, and this is just gonna kind of be broad overtures. But again, there are more details available on the NAR website. The CARES Act provides a moratorium on all federally backed mortgage, a moratorium on foreclosures for all federally backed mortgages for 60 days, and a moratorium on properties with federally backed mortgages for 120 days. So we're talking about properties and mortgages through Fannie, Freddie, HUD, VA, etc. You should also know that any borrowers with federal mortgages, they have the option to request forbearance up to 180 days and then up to another 180 days. So basically almost a full year of deferral and payments as an option to folks for relief. And for landlords and multi-family loan borrowers, you can request forbearance up to 90 days. So there is relief options there. And I know Governor Newsom also secured commitment from 4 of the top 5 banks in California, and along with 200 state chartered banks and lenders, to provide at least 90 days of mortgage relief. So if you're in California, you have a mortgage, there's some relief out there for you. I would just say that, number one, you have to contact your lender, your servicer, to request the forbearance. Just don't stop paying. You do have to pay it back. It's not forgiveness. And so you want to talk about repayment options right up front as you're contacting your servicer. Also in the CARES Act, everyone's credit scores are protected. So even if you're taking part in forbearance, any furnishers have to report you as current. So that goes for both federal and private mortgages and credit cards for that matter. So folks are protected in terms of their credit scores. For student loans, the federal government has suspended payments on student loans for up to 6 months without any interest. But again, you have to call and ask. You can take up to $100,000 in withdrawals from your retirement account without incurring the 10% early withdrawal penalty. So that might be helpful to folks. There's a partial payroll tax deferral included in the CARES Act. And so you can defer paying your Social Security portion of the payroll tax otherwise due. And so you can push that off until paying it in 2 portions, one in at the end of I believe it's the end of 2021 and then the end of 2022. So again, it's just a Social Security portion of the payroll tax and something to potentially bring up with your accountant when you go to file your taxes. Speaking of taxes, the deadlines for all taxes have now been extended to July 15th, even for quarterly filers. So first and second quarter is now due on July 15th. So that's it from me. I'll just I'd like to give one quick pitch for NAR's Right Tools Right Now initiative. If you go to nar.realtor, click on Right Tools Right Now. There are a number of new and existing NAR products that are now available either for free or at discounted rates, webinars, educational courses, market reports, etc. And also, if you do not have access to virtual healthcare, NAR is now offering up to 2 months of virtual healthcare through members telehealth, so that you can access like something like 3,500 certified board physicians across the country for non-emergency healthcare needs during the crisis, so you don't have to leave your home. So please take advantage of that as well. And if you have any questions, I'm here as your NAR concierge. Email me, call me, text me, here to help if needed.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kristian. And we will have a Q&A at the end. Kristian, I hope you can stay and join us. So if you guys have any questions, write them down or put them in the chat. My friend Marianne is watching that, so we'll make sure to get your questions answered. And thank you so much for the information. We really appreciate it. You're doing a great job keeping us posted. So thank you. Next, we're going to move on to our spotlight speakers today. So these individuals who are going to chat with us are experts in their trade, and they are donating their time today to be here with us and to give us some tools to be successful in virtual business. So we're going to go ahead and get started. First up, we're going to introduce Greg Preite. Greg is the owner and founder of Online Profit Strategy, a digital marketing agency that specializes in working with small business owners. Greg has been in business for over 12 years, and his team currently works with clients in over 25 states. They coordinate projects such as website development, content writing, social media management, email marketing, lead generation, and search engine marketing. He is a resident of Temecula, and his wife is an English teacher at Temecula Valley High. Greg, are you here with us today? I saw you earlier.
Yeah, I sure am.
Yay,
how are you?
There you are. I'm good. Thank you so much for being here. I am going to let you work your magic.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to talk with you guys today. So I was asked to just come on and really just discuss some basic digital marketing strategies that really anybody can employ in their business. And we've been working with all different industries across the country now for about the past 12 years. We've got a team of about 8-9 people. We write a lot of content. Like Lisa mentioned, we build websites. We work on social media pages. We help companies to manage their social media profiles. And, really our goal is to help people to get the word out about their business. I always say it's very simple. We help businesses to market themselves online. And a lot of times when you're a sole proprietorship or you've got a small business, which is who we specialize with working with, our typical client has maybe anywhere from 1 to 10 employees, but most of them have under 5 employees. So I know that when you own a small business, you've got to wear tons and tons of hats. You're everything from the sales rep to the marketing manager to the payroll guy, all at one time. So having the time to really learn and focus on what you need to do digitally or online sometimes is a really overwhelming task. So I understand that. What I want to try to do here today in our limited amount of time together, because we could probably spend 8 hours just talking about this topic, but I just want to break it down into some key elements. A lot of you might already have some of these elements in place for your business. If you don't, I might give you then some ideas of what you might want to implement next in your business. And the interesting thing about this is, right now we're all worried about our digital presence because we have to be, right? We can't go to our normal networking meetings or our Chamber of Commerce events or whatever we're used to doing person to person. But the strategies really that are involved in having your business have a strong online presence are not new for the most part. A lot of them are things that, my team has been talking about for the past 5, 6, 7 years. So, some of these things that I'm going to talk about today probably are not foreign to you. Maybe you just haven't implemented them into your business yet. And, maybe this webinar today will give you the impetus to, move forward and do some things that will not only help you during this whole quarantine period, but they'll also help you once it's over and your business needs to, get back to normal. So I've got a couple slides prepared. I'm going to see if I can just share my screen with you guys. It's funny because I'm in the technology world and I always worry that the technology isn't going to work, but it looks like we're doing okay here. So let's talk first about just some basic elements of digital marketing. First of all, as you might guess, you need to have a website. Now, if you're fortunate enough, maybe your broker already provides you with a website, but in terms of a website, there's just a few basic things that you've got to make sure that you've got going on. Number one is a modern design. When you are looking for a business, if someone doesn't know you and they're looking for you or your type of business online, it becomes, I like to refer to it like that high school popularity contest, right? So it's the website sometimes that looks the best, that might get the most attention right offhand. So you want to make sure you have a modern design. Make sure that the data is up to date. It's surprising how many times we'll look at somebody's website and we'll see that they still have staff members on their website that maybe quit 6 months ago. So make sure that your information is up to date. Make sure that it's mobile friendly. Keep in mind that about 60–70% of people, when they go online these days, are doing it on a phone or a mobile device. So you want to make sure that it's very mobile friendly. Second thing to put in place, basic, building blocks, I would say, of digital marketing. These days, you want to have a business and a personal Facebook page. In fact, you can't have a business page unless you have a personal Facebook page first. And the difference between the two is the personal page allows you to reach out to people that you already know. So these are people that you're friends with already on Facebook. A business page allows you to reach people that you don't know. So you can run paid ads that will help you to get your word out to your local area or beyond. You can create events. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. You can only do that with a business page. And you can reach new audiences through targeting. So really important if you want to have a strong digital presence, have a personal and a business Facebook page. But this is one of the simplest things that I see a lot of small businesses not implement, and that is just having an email marketing plan. Email is one of the primary ways that we all do business every single day. But it also goes a lot of time ignored by a small business owner who maybe doesn't have the time or the know-how to put one together. So the first thing you should all be doing is make sure you're keeping a good database of your existing clients, your past clients, your referral partners, your friends and family, and I should have added in this too, your prospects. So, lump them all together, that's fine. You don't necessarily have to give a different message to all of those different groups, but you want to be able to at least reach out to those folks. As a realtor or somebody that's in the real estate business, how often, I'm sure it's happened to all of you at some point, where you go to an event or something and a family member or a friend or somebody says, oh, hey, yeah, I just refinanced my house, or I just bought a house, or I just sold my house. And you missed out on that business because you just simply didn't keep in touch. Email is the simplest way for you to keep in touch. And there's a lot of programs out there that make it fairly user-friendly. MailChimp is a good one. Constant Contact, most people have heard of. I like one that's out there called GetResponse. These are all customer relationship management programs that allow you to upload a database, create an email, and send it to a bulk list of people relatively simply. Anybody can learn how to do it. And some of them are actually free. And have a YouTube channel. Now, I know that Julie is coming on here after me, and she's going to do a lot of talking about video. So I'm not going to talk much about video, but you know, if you do have videos, you've got to have somewhere to put them, and that usually has to start with YouTube because it's free. There's another service out there you might have heard of called Vimeo, V-I-M-E-O. That's the one I actually prefer. There's pros and cons of both Vimeo and YouTube. Really, the only con of Vimeo is that you have to pay for it. YouTube is free. And a lot of times when I talk with a small business owner and I ask them, hey, do you have a YouTube channel? They'll say, well, you know, I don't even know how to set one up. Well, it might surprise you. I'm going to break away from this screen share just for a second. If you have a Gmail account, you already have a YouTube account. You may not know it, but all you've got to do, if you've got a Gmail account, go to google.com, and you see up here in this corner where you've got your image or your photo, your profile photo, there's these 9 little dots. Click on those 9 little dots, and boom, right there is your YouTube channel. So you've all got one probably, even though you may not ever use it or you didn't even know that you have one. If you've got a Gmail account, you have a YouTube channel. Okay, so those are the basic things that you should have in place. There's a lot more that you could do. Yes, there's other social media platforms. There's a lot of other things you could do online. But if you're just getting started, these are the basic things that you want to have, those 4 things. Okay, so now, once you've got those in place, what's the next step? Let's talk about content now and communication. So really what we're talking about here is nothing different than you all would normally do in person. So my guess is that when you are at your networking events and your maybe Chamber of Commerce events, or even just when you're one-on-one with somebody, you're communicating information, education, you're helping people to learn more about your industry, helping people to meet their needs. Well, all we want to do is help you now to transfer some of those conversations from the real world, voice to voice, face to face, now into the digital world, but really it's the same types of communication. So, and the interesting thing about this is you can take one piece of content, and you see I've got this word here, repurpose. You can use one little piece of content within your business and use it maybe 4 or 5 different ways to get you exposure on different media or different platforms. So I'm going to go over that just real quickly for you. So first of all, your website needs to be looked at as your hub. I compare this kind of like to an airport. You know, you've got certain airports like Atlanta or Dallas or LAX that are hubs for a lot of other airlines. Seattle is a hub for Alaska Airlines. Well, your website should be the hub for all of your online content. Anything that you've got to say that's important, that's informative, that's useful or valuable to your target audience, it should go on your website first. And then you can use all of the other fancy things that are out there, whether it be social media or email or whatever, to enable yourself to distribute that content. So start by taking a close look at that website and valuable information, useful information. And I'll add one other thing to this. Sometimes business owners will make the mistake of thinking that because they think that information is valuable, that their consumers or their customers or their clients will also think that that information is valuable. Hate to break it to you, but that's not true. You need to put yourself in the shoes of your ideal client or your ideal customer, and that's the type of person that you need to think of when you're creating useful or valuable content. So, you know, 10% off on your services is not, it's valuable to you, but it's not as valuable to them as you might think, okay? So it doesn't always mean a discount. So again, put that valuable content on your website, and then we can look at ways to distribute it. One way, easiest way, really, and a free way, is through social media posts. So let's say you were to write a blog article or create a video and it went on your website. You can now put a link to that on your social media platforms, whether it be Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, whatever you're using. You can link things back to your website, and that benefits you in a number of ways. One, it drives more traffic to your website. So for instance, you're a real estate agent and you want people to see the listings that are on your website, rather than just only posting listing after listing after listing on your social media accounts, post something that's useful or entertaining or educational. And then when people click on it, they go to your website to see it. And what's on your website? Your listing. So you're providing useful information, but you're still accomplishing, getting people to see your listing. Other things that make great social media posts are images, videos, market information. And I'll warn you, I say this all the time, don't be selling all the time. Don't be that guy that's always on social media, selling, 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 selling. People don't want to hear that, and it's the fastest way for you to be ignored. I tell people follow a rule of like 80-20. So 80% of the time, you should be putting things on social media that educate your audience, that can be useful or valuable or in some way help your audience. And then that earns you the right to sell to those people the other 20% of the time. But be valuable to people before you worry about whether or not they're valuable to you. Your email newsletter. Talked about email in the last slide. Any useful information that goes on your website or on social media can then be transformed or transposed or rewritten for an email newsletter that can now go out to your database. And then finally, videos. So again, the same information that maybe goes on your website, you've now repurposed it 4 or even more different ways. Social media posts, email newsletter, videos. Keep in mind that videos could be educational type videos, testimonials, personal communications. Here's a great idea. Rather than communicating in the old way where we were always face to face, and I shouldn't say old way, but what we're most used to, try maybe to record a 10 or 15-second video for a client and send it to that client via text message. Maybe something that some of you have done before, maybe something you've never really thought about, but in times when we're socially isolated, it's a great strategy for you to be able to keep your face and your voice in front of people. And in times when we're not socially isolated, it's a great way for you to be different. And in a world where there's tons of competitors within your industry, being different sometimes is the most important thing. And then finally, don't be afraid to try some live video. I know some of you maybe have already done it, but Facebook offers the Facebook Live feature. But you can also, if you're not comfortable with live, you can record a video with some great information, maybe some tips or strategies that you record just on your phone, and then upload it to Facebook, upload it to YouTube. You can upload it to your other social media posts as well. So it really comes down to being creative and disseminating information in multiple different ways that allow you to keep in front of people and make it a little easier for you to get through times like we're having right now. But this is going to be over one day, and you're going to be back to doing business, quote unquote, as normal. And these are strategies that I guarantee you that only a fraction of the people out there in your industry are doing. So you can really set yourself apart. And like I mentioned earlier, that is the name of the game in a crowded, competitive industry. Find ways to set yourself apart. And if all you did was implement these few strategies that I talked about, you'll be well on your way to doing that. So if you've got questions or comments, or if you need help getting started, these are also services that we offer to our clients. My contact information is right there. And thank you so much for listening. And Lisa, I'll give it back to you.
Thank you so much, Greg. Great information. And a great segue into our next speaker, actually, about video. So next up, we have Julia Glyde. Julia has been entertaining, educating, and inspiring audiences for over 30 years. She knows that being visible is key to business success. This is why she teaches business owners how to make their own marketing videos, speak with confidence in public, and use platforms like Zoom to increase their online visibility. Julia started her professional career in the entertainment industry and spent years as a singer and bilingual recording artist. Later, she became the spokesperson for a major California casino where she appeared on television and radio shows and worked with many Hollywood and Nashville stars. In 2013, Julia launched her own San Francisco Bay Area training company and has empowered thousands of business owners to stand out from their competition online. Clients who have worked with Julia say she's exceptional at helping even the shyest, most resistant get comfortable and confident quickly, being visible to build their brand and their business. So please welcome Julia Glyde today.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Yep, we're there. Cool. Yeah, Greg, thank you. I love that you put everything together and blended video in, because obviously the online world is where we all are, whether we want it to be or not. We've been thrust into this situation, and it's kind of like birdies being pushed out of the nest. So here we are. And you know, over the last couple of weeks, I've helped over 800 people get comfortable on Zoom, because just Zoom alone is a brand new thing for so many people. And I've been using it for the last year and a half, and it's a lot like video. When you look around at everybody's images, you can see all the different backgrounds that people have and the different way they look on video. And one of the things that I like to teach is how to be comfortable and confident on video or on any video platform. So by a raise of hand, how many of you don't really like the way you look and sound on video? You just don't really like the way you look and sound on video. Okay, so this is a familiar issue. So many people say, God, I really want to make videos. I want to get out there. I want to be in front of my ideal clients, and I want to stay connected with my customers. And I have great ideas spinning around in my head, but oh man, I don't like the way I look on video. Oh, my voice, do I really sound like that? Do I really sound like that? You start asking people, do I really sound like that? So here's the thing I want you to write down. This is the biggest tip that I have, and this is something you can plaster all over your computer and on the mirror and anything. I want you to think about, when it comes to making videos, say, videos aren't about me. Videos aren't about me. Write that down, put it in your head, remember it. Because here's the thing I know, that so many people feel uncomfortable with the way they look and sound. Fear of not looking professional, fear of messing things up and now people think less of them, or fear of criticism, putting our videos out where our peers are going to see them, and are they going to think we look stupid, or do we think other people look stupid? We have all these things in our heads. So when you just think, videos are not about me, that helps you get out of your own head and think, who are videos for? Who are videos for? They're for the viewer. They're for the person we're making them for. Videos should never be about us. Like, oh, I really should be on video. No, I have something valuable to share. I need to get it out there. I have an important message to send to my customers. I need to get it out there, and I'm going to do it via video, because it is the next best thing to in-person. People feel your energy. They can read your body language, your facial expressions. They can get a lot from video. Do you all agree with that? Is that helpful at all to think about getting out of your head? Yes. Okay. Because a lot of us are like, oh my God, my roots need to be touched up, right? Hello, ladies, or right, we need our haircut. My husband trimmed the back of my hair the other day, and I helped him with his after he started on his own. It wasn't good. And we said, okay, you know, it's not about me. Or we ate all of our quarantine snacks and we've gained 5 or 10 pounds. Now we can't make videos because we don't look good on video. It's not about me. It's not about me. So that every time you think about filming, just think it's not about me. So let me give you some really practical tips. Actually, I'm going to give one of these away at the end. This is a selfie stick, which is really, really cool. It's very fun little portable thing you can keep in your car. You can use it for Zoom meetings like this. You can use it to make videos. Not only is it a selfie stick, but it's also a little mini tripod. And not only is it that, but it also has a little remote control. So you can put your video camera up here. Here's a big tip, by the way, when you come to film, do them horizontal. Do them horizontal, okay? And you're gonna just pop it right into wherever it is you're using to hold your camera. I don't recommend making videos handheld. They just don't look very good. They're always a little bit shaky. And you can either have it on a selfie stick if you're doing some kind of, well, you wouldn't be right now, but in the future when you're out doing a home tour, you could always do something like having it on a selfie stick, or just have it on a tripod. And here are a couple tips, because when Mary Ann talked to me about coming on, she talked about how can somebody feel confident when they've never made videos. What are some of the few things they can do? And one is to make sure you look good in the camera. Make sure you're framed. So as a matter of fact, we talked about everybody right now with your backgrounds. You should be sitting up in the camera. And as if you were sitting across, even right here on Zoom, as if you were sitting across from somebody, talking to somebody across a conference table, across your desk. So we shouldn't see, you know, just our heads like this in the camera, or we shouldn't be looking down or too close. We don't want to look like grandpa on FaceTime. It's the same on Zoom as it is on video, to kind of frame yourself. And I tell ladies, they just, you know, just about waist up. Ladies and gentlemen, from the waist up, so people can see your hand language, your body, or your hand gestures and your body language. Same with a video. So if I was going to film myself here, you know, a lot of people will put it up like this because they want to look 10 pounds, 20 pounds lighter, but that's a problem, right? Especially if they see us in person later, if that ever happens again, they're like, whoa, you look different. No, just kidding. That's not fair. So I say, let's make it like 5 pounds lighter, okay? It can be slightly up, but not that high up. And then you want to look directly into the eye of the camera, not at yourself in the screen. A lot of times people will be looking at themselves on the screen. It doesn't look like they're talking to the camera. So you want to make sure you find the eye of the camera, which will be a little tiny on the one side of your camera, little tiny hole there, and you're just going to speak to that. So once you're set up, you know you look good, then just focus on the eye of the camera. Right now, while I'm talking to you, I'm looking at the top of my computer and the little tiny eye of the camera, so you feel like I'm talking to you versus looking at you all on the screen. Like I see you all on the screen, and that's fine, but when I'm presenting as if I was doing a video, I would make sure I'm looking at the eye of the camera. So that's a tip on video. Is that good? Thumbs up if that is helpful. All right. So, and the other thing is to think about your backgrounds. That's what Mary Ann Sharp and I were talking about, is creating a background that represents you. And if you're at home right now, obviously it's not your office, but you can still have a nice background with maybe a picture on the wall, maybe a plant, sitting at your desk, sitting at the dining room table, as long as the background looks good. Really think about your brand. I love seeing you guys all making little adjustments. That's awesome. The one thing you don't want to do is being planted up by like just against a wall, right? You don't want to look like it's a mug shot and you're against a flat wall and you're just standing there looking scared. Have a little bit of depth behind you. Maybe right here, this is just a little area that I use every time I do a call. And I have a lot going on. Some people might like it, some people might want less, but you want something for some visual interest, not being flat up against a wall. So it looks like you're sitting in a comfortable space and you're talking to the viewer. It's all about that connection and that know, like, and trust. So those are a couple tips for background. And then framing, I talked about, you know, having it like eye level. Just really think about eye level, and then have yourself pretty much centered. You know, there are some professional videographers. I think we have a professional videographer coming up, and he obviously, you want professional videographers for your home videos and all of those things you need a videographer for. I'm not replacing that at all. This is just to help you get comfortable staying connected to your ideal clients, staying connected with current clients, being top of mind with that warm market, those people who are maybe following you on social media, somebody who bought a house from you or you sold a house for, and then you're friends with them and they see that you've listed something and then they share it with their friends and family. If you're on video and people get to know you, they'll think, I really like her. I can see why you worked with her. I like that. I like that realtor. Or I like that lender. I saw one of her videos, or I saw one of his videos. I like their energy. That's great. So that's the whole reason for you being on video. Does that make sense? Everybody nod so I can hear those marbles rolling around. How many of you are all on Zoom all the time now, right? What a way to spend our days. I'll tell you, I think that this whole video conferencing thing and this whole situation has really helped a lot of us see, wow, we can really save a lot of time, energy, and effort by using these platforms and these mediums to connect with clients and people. We don't have to be running all over, although we want to run a little more than we're doing right now. So that is a little tip on setting up your phone. Let me see. Okay, I'm almost out of time. And again, you can move these little tripods around so that you have a good setting. If you're using your computer, just move your computer around so you look good. One final tip. So that was lighting, framing, eye level, videos are not about me, interest on, you know what, and lighting, just make sure that you have light on you, that you don't have light behind you. If you have a window behind you and you're backlit, that doesn't look good. You want to make sure that you have light on you so people can see your face, so they can see what it is you're saying and doing, especially in your videos. If you don't have good lighting, step outside. Step outside, far away from everybody so you don't get in trouble, and shoot a video, because natural lighting is the best. Marianne asked me to talk about one more thing, and this will just take a minute, is how do you, so you know all these tips, if you have a situation where you need to walk a client through, perhaps showing you their house, you know, right now we're all virtual, and she said, like kind of the pre-listing thing, show me your house, walk me through. You can give your clients these tips. You can say, hey, walk me through the house, hold your camera about, you know, eye level, walk me through. But before we even do that, can you just open up all the blinds and make sure there's a lot of natural lighting, turn on all the lights in your home, and then just walk me through the flow of your home so I can get a feel of each room. So that's a way you can kind of coach your clients if you want to see somebody's home before you're actually able to get in. Is that kind of helpful? Does that make sense? Because you're going to ask your clients to do stuff like that. They have no idea what you're talking about, you know, and they're going to, again, say, could you turn your camera horizontal, and then just hold it, you know, kind of eye level, and then walk me through the house and let me see what we're looking at. Take me through the flow. So Marianne, is that helpful? Did you have anything to say about that?
No, I think you did a wonderful job. Thank you so much, Julia. And I know that you have classes offline as well that people might be able to check out.
Yeah, let me tell you how to win one of these. And I'm also going to give somebody a spot in my upcoming next week. I have a 7-day video. It's called Fast Launch Video, and it's helping people film their videos, post them in our little private Facebook group, and getting feedback from me so that you can feel confident about your settings. And if you want to win a spot in that class, or if you want to win this little tripod, you can email me, julia@juliaglyde.com. Marianne, maybe you could put it in the chat, because my last name is spelled Glyde. So it's Julia, Julia, @juliaglyde.com. And in the chat, in the subject, so you're just going to email that. In the subject, I want you to write, I want to win. I want to win. And then I'll see those come in. Once I get them all in, have them all to me by 1:30 at the latest. I'll draw the winners, and then I'll email everybody back who's entered, tell you who the winners were, and then I'll give you a link to the class if you want to join. If you don't win, you can still join the class, and I would love to help you make your videos. Get out there, build your brand, and yeah, get comfortable with it. Whew, that was fast.
Julia,
That was fast. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Julia, can we have an extension to 1:45 since our event ends at 1:30?
Oh, absolutely. You can have an extension till 2 o'clock. Just get those emails in at 2 o'clock.
All right.
That's fine. Yeah, I was like,
Thank you so much.
That's fine. Yes. Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you, Julia, for being here today. I know that I have taken several of your classes. I've even won one of those tripods. So you guys, she is amazing, and we just really appreciate all the info. Thank you, Julia. And it is another great segue into our next speaker. So next up, we have Laith Masarweh. Laith is the founder owner of Immursiv, headquartered in Orange County. They are the premier provider of 3D virtual tours, but also offer professional real estate photography, aerial drone photography and video, and virtual staging. Laith was one of the first to introduce virtual tour technology to Southern California, and he has been effectively assisting agents and brokers with marketing their listings with new and innovative technology since 2008. So welcome, my friend Laith. Where are you? There you are.
Cool. Thank you so much, Lisa, for the introduction.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate being on this panel discussion here. Yeah, so I'm going to kind of share a little bit about what I do. I started this company a couple of years ago with virtual tour technology. I know, especially during this time, it's really, really hard for agents and brokers, developers to showcase their listings. With the open house lockdown, there's no broker caravan available. So I always, my belief is that the virtual tour is the best open house alternative. I'm going to show you guys a little bit about the technology, kind of walk you through it for those that are not familiar with it. I think it's good to kind of show you like the basic virtual tour that I create, to kind of show you the technology. That way everybody's familiar with it if you haven't seen it before. And then I'm going to show you how I kind of stepped it up a tad and made it more customized to your branding. So I'll show you those 2 versions and then some metrics, and then kind of show you guys how you guys can incorporate this into your Zoom meetings. I know a lot of agents, especially here in Orange County, are hosting Zoom virtual open houses. And I'm going to kind of show you an example of a great marketing campaign and how to implement it and structure your Zoom virtual open house so it's very effective for your listing. So this whole presentation is pretty much going to be me sharing my screen. So I'm going to jump right into that and show you an example, and then hopefully I can answer questions at the end. So I'm going to share my screen now. Perfect. Okay, Lloyd, are you here on the call?
I am.
All right. So
Nice looking listing.
It's a nice looking listing, huh? So we got this this listing that I did for Lloyd, part of Coldwell Banker here in Temecula. This one is priced at $759,000. 4 bed, 4 bath, about 3,200 square feet. There you go, some free promotion on Lloyd's listing right there. I'm going to show you guys exactly the virtual tour that I created for him in his space. So I'm going to go full screen. That way we can all check it out. So this is what you call a 3D virtual tour. I know a lot of people the misconception is a property video is a virtual tour. That's completely opposite. A virtual tour is something that you can walk through. So as you can see, there's about 60 to 70 people here on this Zoom call. I live in Laguna Niguel myself. I know everybody here lives, in different places, but we're all walking, as part of Lloyd's new listing. As you see here, there's different halos on the ground. This is what creates the walkthrough experience. If I click on this halo, we're here in this, in this room. If I click over here, we keep on walking, we get to the living room. You can walk up the stairs. So it's really great. So when I talk about the next open house, this is it. I've been doing this for the last 2 to 3 years, really introduced the technology here in Southern California. And it's great now. I mean, that people are really catching on to this tech. It's one of the most effective tool to showcase. It's literally like we're all walking through as if we were physically there, but we're not. And that's the whole point is for you guys as agents, it's important to get people to see your listings because they can't be there in person with you. And then they can schedule a private showing. So that's always great. So we're walking through. For people that don't want to do this whole walkthrough experience, I give my clients the option of this highlight reel. So that's always included. If we want to just press play in there, it'll take you through the entire home as a slideshow format. And we can press pause whenever we like. We can continue to play whenever we like. And we can do the whole thing. The great thing is the highlight reel is labeled with all the rooms. As you can see, it says kitchen, office, office bedroom, master bedroom. So if we wanted to go straight to the master bedroom and I click right here, it'll take us straight to the master bedroom. And again, we could do the whole walkthrough experience. I mean, you have a large master bedroom, with the golf course views, backs up to the golf course, right behind. And again, we can do the whole walkthrough experience in here. So that's where the highlight reel is really important for people that don't want to do the walkthrough experience. It'll take them through the whole entire property in a matter of a couple of minutes, which is fantastic. What you guys, a lot of agents have probably seen is this really, really awesome dollhouse view. I know I work with a lot of agents on incorporating this on their social media to kind of showcase, hey, I have this awesome technology that we're using as part of our listing. Here, check it out on our Instagram and our Facebook. I create little snippets, if the agent wants to use it as part of their Instagram. So for example, it's like a futuristic Barbie house is the way I always explain it. And the cool thing is you can move it left, move it right, move it up and move it down. But not only that, the great thing about it too is if we ever wanted to just hop right into a room, it'll take you straight in there. It's pretty freaky. I mean, I really enjoy the dollhouse view. You could click on it. People play with it, quite a bit. And as you can see, I mean, it keeps people very engaged in your listing with all the cool features they can use. I mean, it's really fantastic between the walkthrough experience and the highlight reel. It's really awesome. And then you have the dollhouse that people can, play around with. And then you have the floor plan view. Floor plan view is like the 3D floor plan of the property. And if anybody has any questions regarding this technology, I'd be more than happy to answer them at the end. And then, you can schedule a call with me and I'll kind of go over the technology again. But this is what you call the floor plan view, and it's labeled by room. That way people will have an idea so they know exactly where everything is located. And if I ever wanted to hop into a room, all I have to do is just click in there and then we're in there that quick. I know for a lot of people, this technology a couple of years ago was very complicated to use. The great thing are a lot of potential buyers and even sellers are really familiar with this technology, so it's very easy to use now. Last little feature, if I just kind of go back to the kitchen, it's a new thing that came out about a month ago. Is this measurement tool. If you want to measure something within the virtual tour, it's extremely accurate. If you want to measure this and you want to just pinpoint it there, it tells you it's 7'7". So it gives you, accurate measurements of the doorways, of the furniture. If I wanted to, want to measure this couch, from the wall, let's see here, that way, if you could fit your sectional couch in there. Which is great. So that is a new tool that is being used here, which is really great, is a measurement mode. So that's a little bit about the virtual tour, the basic model that we use. That has all the information right here. Just a quick little description, has Lloyd's information. So if you have any buyers for this property, please contact Lloyd. Awesome property, great sellers, gorgeous location, backs up to the golf course, has a great pool. And then Lloyd and I worked out, I get half his commission from advertising this. Is that right, Lloyd?
He's pretending he's muted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
was on that call though, and I remember him saying.
Yeah, you did. Okay, so I got a witness. Great. So the second thing that I do that's a little different is what I call my own branded version. So that's this. It's going to be the same virtual tour, but if I refresh it a little bit, as you can notice here, it has his logo right here. It has Coldwell Banker. I'm going to change it to actually his personal logo, but it has his logo right here in the upper right-hand corner. Has virtual tour and the property address right here. And then it says, click here to explore more. So we go right here, and it's an easy navigation from room to room. If you want to go to the living room, you can go straight to the living room. If you want to go to the kitchen, you could go straight to the kitchen. Don't forget, you also have this great highlight reel on the bottom as another option, but I try to make it as simple for potential buyers and investors as possible to navigate through for those that are not so tech friendly, that they have this easy navigation bar here to click through the virtual tour, and they can go from room to room. Great, another feature, you have Google Maps incorporated. So it's really important for people to know, hey, where is this property located? It's located on Tiaga Street, and it shows you have elementary schools here, you have the golf course here, you got the grocery markets and shopping around here. So that's really great for people to know, where is your listing? Because that's really important. People like to sell off their location. This was a great location for a single family residence. If I click satellite, it's pretty much free aerial. So if we go here, this is the home right over here. Backs up to the golf course. You even have a couple guys playing around in golf in the back. That's how you know it's legit. And then, you can see the area, and you can, do cool little spinning around. So like I said, it's free aerial pretty much within the virtual tour I create. The last thing I want to know is right here. It's Lloyd himself that has his headshot, and you can call or email him directly from the virtual tour. And again, that adds a little branding aspect, because for me, it's very important for my agents to have a brand. It's really important. You guys, whether you work for Coldwell Banker or Keller Williams or First Team, I work with many agents in those companies, and it's like you have your own personal brand within those companies, and it's really important to set yourself apart. This technology, like I said, I've been doing it for such a long time that it has really made a big differentiating factor in winning listings and selling listings. I'm going to show you guys the metrics of a virtual tour I did about 3 weeks ago. It sold in about 5 days, but I'll show you how many views and visits he's got on his virtual tour. This one was in North Tustin. So here's the impressions and here are the visits. Impressions meaning they clicked on it on the virtual tour, visits meaning they went through the full virtual tour itself. So 771 people actually went through the full virtual tour. That's a lot of people. If you host an open house for 3-4 months, maybe even 6 months to a year, you might not even get that many foot traffic in the door. And then these are the impressions, people that actually clicked on it. So he has over 1,000 people that have clicked on this virtual tour in a matter of 3 weeks. It's already sold. It's just still on the MLS end, which is awesome. It's super fantastic that he was able to maximize exposure. Property was unseen. Nobody walked in here physically. They put in a full cash price offer unseen into the listing. It's like I said, it's great technology to really immerse yourself in the space as if you were physically there. This is how it populates on realtor.com. This is one I did. It's called, you're going to see an example of the Zoom virtual open house that I was talking about, how to incorporate it. It shows up as VR tour in 3D view on realtor.com. This virtual tour will syndicate to realtor.com, Zillow, Redfin, all the listing platforms. You can easily incorporate it on your Facebook, your Instagram, email, text. It's just a link. There's nothing you download, which is really, really fantastic. It's that easy to do. And then you can share it. You can share it to thousands of people. I mean, the agent, Dan DeForest, he shares it on Facebook and runs ads, and he gets a lot of people that visit his tours. So it's really, really great. So that's a little bit about the virtual tour technology. If anybody has any questions, I do a lot of virtual tours, especially now with the whole lockdown. I'm all over Southern California shooting these virtual tours for many agents across different companies. I've seen tremendous results. It really helps expedite the sales process, because I know how hard it is for you guys. The next thing I want to talk about is the Zoom open house that I've been seeing a lot of agents use. When you have a Zoom open house, make sure there's structure to it. I know a lot of people, I watch a lot of agents Zoom open houses, and it's just, and that's where Julia plays in as well with the tips that she was giving. It's just like a selfie video of you walking through the house on Zoom. And for me, that doesn't really make too much sense because there's no structure or outline of what you're going to be talking about and what's going to get people intrigued in your property. By you just walking through your open house, it's not going to really do too much. If you have a Zoom open house and you market it efficiently, effectively, just like this agent does, he does an extremely great job. I mean, when you talk about top of technology, Hiram Avilas he's the guy for it. Does a great job branding. You couldn't even tell he works for First Team. He does a great job branding and does a great job exposing his listings. As you can see, it says Zoom open house, has the date and time, has the address, or has the URL address for the Zoom, and it has a little description. So what he's going to be doing is he's going to be going over the marketing content. He's going to be going over the pictures. He's going to click through the virtual tour as part of the Zoom, just like I'm doing with you guys. He's going to click through, hey, you guys, we're going to start here at the entry. We're going to walk through the family room. We're going to go towards the living room. So he's going to be talking about the virtual tour while he clicks through. If anybody has any questions, they can put it in the comment section, which is really awesome. And then he's going to talk a little bit about the location, why, Irvine and Northwood is such a great area for a family to live in. It has the best schools, award-winning schools. He has, some of the best shopping, in California. And he's going to talk about that. And then what he's also going to do is bring the sellers in there. Hey, I'm going to introduce you to the sellers and why this home is so special to them. So it gives a little bit of an insight. So when you guys do these Zoom open houses, make sure there's structure. Make sure there's an outline of what exactly you're going to talk about and what you're going to do. I'm going to talk about, myself a little bit. I'm going to talk about the marketing content. I'm going to talk about why this home is so special. I'm introducing the sellers here to kind of share, why they've lived there for 10 years, and then wrap it up with a Q&A. Have structure, have outline, make it where it's really presentable. Market, email blast this to all of the agents in your area so you can have your own broker caravan. You could do a specific Zoom open house for agents in your area. You can do a Zoom open house for potential buyers and send it to your database. He has it on Facebook. He has it on Instagram. And he does a great job marketing everything. So yeah, that's a little bit about what I do. I also offer virtual staging. I do a lot of virtual staging projects that are vacant. I know it's very difficult to get a stager in the door right now. So that's really important. If you have any photos that are vacant and you need me to virtually stage them, please let me know. Or if it's not vacant and you just want to, a different theme to the room, the living room, master bedroom, let me know and I can change it up. Like I said, I do quite a bit of virtual staging. So yeah, I'm a full service marketing company. If you need anything, we specialize in virtual tours and virtual staging, but we offer really awesome, affordable packages for our clients. And again, if you ever need me to help walk you through the technology, if you're not familiar with it, please, you could text or call me. I'm going to leave my information here in the chat section. And if you want to schedule a listing, please let me know in advance, as the virtual tour demand is very high. And if you want to just learn more about the technology one-on-one, I'd be more than happy to help. But otherwise, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everyone, for having me on here. And then I'll stick around for the Q&A.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Laith. That technology is incredible. I have worked with Laith a lot recently in the past couple of weeks, and I'm just blown away every time. So thank you for being here, and thank you to all of our spotlight speakers for being here. All of their information together is really going to set everybody up for success. I know it may be uncomfortable. I know it might be weird, but this is the way we are doing business right now. So make sure you jump on this bandwagon, and you've got a lot of great resources here for you today. So thank you guys all for being here. Before we go into Q&A, I do want to introduce a couple of local realtors here today. They have been implementing video into their business, and I just want them to talk about how it's helped their business today. So first up, we have Mitchell Jones with Mitchell Jones Home Sales, Coldwell banker. Mitchell, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you've been using video and how it's helped you?
Okay. Well, first of all, I would preface this by saying I went to a Tom Ferry conference last summer, and one of the stats that they led with was 70% of all consumers do not trust real estate agents. So we have to have an avenue to build greater trust. Oftentimes, I'm referred by someone who has used me as their agent before. They refer me to someone else, and they're saying she'll do a great job marketing your home. She goes above and beyond, and she does videos. I have to say, I never wanted to do video. I said when I lost 20 pounds and I had a facelift, I'd start doing videos. Well, none of that happened. I probably have gained more weight now. But I've learned it can be the most uncomfortable thing to do, but we owe it to our clients and we owe it to our community in helping to build those relationships better so that people feel like by the time they reach out to us, they already know us. They've seen us online, they've seen us through videos, and it is a greater way to build that trust early on. We also know that YouTube and, well, actually YouTube is one of the fastest growing search engines for new homes, or when people are searching for homes. It's one of the best places to go. So, you know, sometimes we just have to step out of our box. I'd love to say it's comfortable for me. I love doing it. Not at all. I can't stand my voice, all that stuff that that everyone has said, but it is part of our business and we owe it to our clients. They trust us, especially if we're listing agents. They trust us to go 110%, and part of that does include video showcasing their home and giving them the greatest exposure platform. So I fully support it.
Thank you, Mitchell. I appreciate your input. It's good to see you today.
Good to see you too.
All right. Next up, we have Lacy with Williams & Co. Coldwell banker. Lacy Williams, are you here? You're here.
Good. Hi.
Thank you for being here. Can you give us a few minutes about how you've proven useful in your business?
Pretty much building on what Mitchell said. So much of what we put out there in, you know, posting and commenting and emails, a lot of people stray away from phone calls now, so we miss a lot of that face-to-face and direct communication. So it's just a great avenue for building trust and getting your personality across, and the fact that you do truly care for these people and their homes and your role in the process of what you're doing and helping them buy and sell. So it's huge for that. Looking at what we've been going through right now, I was on a call yesterday with an appraiser, and he was talking about how appraisals are going to be different through what we're going through. And appraisers are now having to rely on photos and videos from us as the agents or the sellers directly to obtain value for the listings that we're trying to sell. So as far as making sure that that property is being showcased in its best possible manner, we have to get out there. Like Mitchell said, we owe it to our clients. We have to get out there. We have to get that video done. We have to be able to present that property in its best possible light to make sure we're securing that value. So, you know, everything that, was it Julia?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, everything that she was saying, you know, about nobody's comfortable in front of the camera, and, you know, do I really sound like that? Everybody feels that way. So, you know, it's like she said, it's not about us. It's about us doing our job for those clients that have entrusted us to sell those homes for them. And I've recently been using the Facebook Live feature And realistically, right now, a lot of homeowners and consumers are scared. They're scared with what's happening. So we have to be the voice of reason and the voice of calmness. They have no clue what's happening in the market. They have no clue what's happening with the lenders and the industry. And so I'm using video right now to reach out to people, my sphere, my database, people on Facebook, to bring them content and information to give them hopefully some peace of mind with everything that we're going through, and explain to them that this is not 2008. We are not experiencing a crash in the market, and just explain to them why this is different. And in doing so, the peace of mind that we are giving to them, it just feels really good with everything else that they're going through, to be able to at least bring a small amount of comfort in that manner. And video helps do that. You can show your sincerity.
Absolutely. Such a great point with that too. Our homeowners don't know what's going on. We're professionals in our industry, so we have to be that person for them. So thank you both so much. I appreciate the testimonials. Thank you for being here today. I think we're going to go into our Q&A portion. I know we're running a little bit behind, but if you have a question that you'd like to ask any of our speakers today, go ahead and type it in the comments, and Mary Ann will read them out. Mary Ann, do we have any questions already going today?
We do. Is Kristian on the call?
No, I think Kristian had to bow out. He had another call, and we did run over a little bit.
So I will send those questions, and we'll get those answers, and we'll put it in the recap email to everybody. I also have a question here for Laith. John Rupp was asking if Matterport is accepting affiliates and vendors to advertise on their virtual program, on their virtual platform.
Laith, are you still here with us?
I don't see him there either.
I see his name, but I don't see his video, so he may have grabbed a call or something. So John, we'll get that answered for you, and I'll try and get Laith to pop back on. Is there anything else?
Let me just double check. The pricing also of the virtual video, but that's for Laith.
Yep. So Laith has sent me a flyer, and it has some of his pricing available. He has different options depending on the package you choose, and we'll include that in the recap email as well. Marianne, I have those for you. So we'll include
for
those.
Julia, which light is better? Soft, white, normal, or blue?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I didn't know. Actually, I didn't know there were that many different lights. I use the ring light that you can buy on Amazon. I love natural light. That's my first choice always, is just natural outside light. But if it's darker and I can't, I just use the Amazon ring light. And Marianne, you know a little bit about lighting. What do you know the difference?
No, I have a ring light as well, and it has a couple of different settings on there. So I play with it based off of my complexion, because everybody's a little different. And it also depends on the light that you have coming into your room. So I have a window from one angle, and then the ring light is balancing me from the other side.
I have that same thing. So I have a window in front of me, and I have a ring light here, and just depending on if it's rainy or overcast or sunny, I just switch it around to look.
And the ring lights, we have different settings and different controls for lighter, darker, or brighter. So
Yeah. Marianne, Laith is back if you want to repeat that question for Laith.
Laith, we have some questions for you about, one for pricing, and the other is if Matterport is accepting affiliates and vendors to advertise on their virtual platform.
Yeah, so as far as pricing goes, I have a pricing sheet. It kind of just depends on square footage. So whoever asks that price, they can text or call me, and I can send you my pricing sheet. I put my number and contact in the chat section. So everything's based off square footage. So I can shoot you over the price, absolutely no problem. So if anybody has any questions regarding price or like to schedule, my cell phone number is 916-628-5353. Again, that's 916-628-5353. I know that's an unfamiliar area code. That's from Sacramento. That's where I'm originally from. That's the number I kept. So yeah, and then to answer the second question, our virtual, you said, is Matterport accepting affiliates to be incorporated? Is that correct?
I think so. I think that was the question, yeah.
So the quick answer to that is actually when I started using this platform, the whole idea was to to have people as sponsors in the virtual tour. So, I worked when I first created with, Apple, Ray-Ban, different lenders. So what I can do is, the short answer to that is yes, I can incorporate you in a tag in the virtual tour and say, hey, this is John Smith, he's a lender, or John Smith, he's a title, or this is Lisa Wayman, she's with Corner Escrow. I can incorporate that in a little, I could direct them to the website, I could direct them to call you. So it's honestly up to the agent. I can incorporate whatever the agents want in the virtual tour. I can tag anything that they want, whether it's features of the home, or hey, please link them to my website inside the virtual tour. I can do that. So if you work with an agent, that doesn't mind having you as an affiliate in their virtual tour, I can absolutely do that for you. Again, it's up to the agent on what they would like to have incorporated in there.
Awesome. Thank you, Laith. Marianne, did we get any more questions?
No, if there's anyone else that has any questions, feel free to unmute yourself if you'd like to jump on. We have a couple minutes left.
Don't be shy. This is your video practice.
Well, I would like to just throw in a little something about Julia too. I took Julia's Video Academy, and the thing that I loved the most about it, because I didn't like doing videos at all, was the scripting aspect. So she just has these wonderful thought out scripts that you actually create with your own content, but it gives you a way to deliver your message feeling confident about what you're saying. It helps me not have so many retakes when I do need to make a video, and I feel good about the message that I'm sending. So definitely not winging it is important, really thinking out what you want to do ahead of time, and then you just come off so much better in your video. So
Marianne.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, Candace.
Oh, hi. I'm on my first time showing my face on a Zoom call, but I'm out in my home office, which is a tough shed that definitely you can see needs some background, but I couldn't figure out how to do the virtual background. So Marianne, when this is all over, I need you to come decorate.
No problem.
Marianne's gotten lots of requests for that, haven't you, Marianne?
But no, this is great information. Thank you. And I always look forward to these I'm not on them all the time, but this is very uplifting, and thanks to everybody who's on here. For those of you who know me, I'm not a tech person at all, and been forced out of my comfort zone, being isolated on my half acre here in Wildemar, but I'm getting it. So thank you to everybody who's got great tips, and hopefully we can all get together soon.
Thank you, Candace. All right, you guys, I think that concludes our event today. I just want to give another huge shout out to my fellow Temecula Valley Real Estate Power team. Again, we have Marianne Sharp with Lawyer's Title, Bill Provost with Franklin Loan, Richie Perez with Richie's Termite and Pest, Matt Smith with Trust Home Inspections, Tiffany Cross with Dedicated Credit Repair, Lloyd Mize with Lloyd Mize Realty Group powered by Coldwell Banker, Scott Peterson with Home Perfect Restoration, Garen Parker with News and Property Management, John Ruff with Rough and Ready Moving, and Celeste Descharme with Rancho Self Storage. It takes a village to produce these events, and we just appreciate you all for helping and being here. Make sure you keep a lookout for the recap email. It'll have this whole session recorded for you, and it'll also have links and slides and documents for all of the things that our speakers discussed today. So thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate it, and take care.